Nel linfoma a grandi cellule B diffuso, la CAR-T therapy ha un ruolo nelle seconde e terze linee di trattamento. Tuttavia, si stanno accumulando dati anche per un suo utilizzo in prima linea di terapia. Ne abbiamo parlato in occasione di The Lymphomas Conference tenutasi a Roma con un vero esperto di questa materia, il professor Steven Schuster. Dr. Schuster, which is the current use of CAR-T cell therapy in diffuse large B-cell lymphoma?
Currently, CAR T cells used as second-line therapy. There's two commercially available products for patients that have failed first line of therapy. And for those that have failed more than two regimens, that is third line or later, there's three products that are on the market. Primarily, it's not that there's any great biologic difference between the products, it's that the way that the second line studies were designed that leads to discrepancy. But it's made a big impact on our ability to improve the outcome for patients with large B-cell lymphomas. I mean, in the rituximab era, the number of patients that could actually make it to auto transplant and benefit was becoming under 20%, very small. And this actually, we can do twice that well if we do CAR-T with a lot less toxicity, without age restrictions, without having to do chemotherapy sensitivity testing like we do in auto transplant. So we can treat more patients and have much better outcome. So it's really changed the second and third or later lines of therapy. People are looking at it frontline now, okay? What they're doing is they're taking high-risk patients, giving a couple cycles of a chemoimmunotherapy, and then patients that have less than a CR, they're moving directly into it. How those studies will end up, I don't know. I think probably it'll be hard. I think there needs to really probably be some kind of randomized trial in that setting, frontline setting. But I know there's several pharmaceutical sponsors that are doing frontline studies right now.
So now, where do you think we are headed with this kind of immunotherapy?
Oh boy, where are we headed? What we have is good. I mean, in the third line, we're saving about a third of patients, but we've got to improve our outcomes for the other 2/3. In the second line, we're probably saving 40% of those patients, but we still have 60% left to work on. We have so many new drugs now that are available, including even T-cell-based therapies like bispecifics, which target different antigens than the CARs that we're using right now. CD19 is the target of the commercially available CARs. The commercially available bispecifics target CD20. So you've got two different antigens to target. They can be used sequentially or concomitantly even. We're running a study where we're using bispecifics together. There's also pharmacologic ways of enhancing T-cell function. For example, the BTK inhibitor ibrutinib does that. I think that as we learn more and more about the intracellular pathways that are important in keeping these cells alive, the malignant cells alive, and that determine the threshold for apoptosis within those cells, we could be adding these things to our T-cell-based immunotherapies and get even better results. So I think it's going to be combination therapies, the way that all of oncology has always been. It will be combinations of different surface epitopes or different surface targets, such as CD20, CD19, CD79B, CD22. There'll be bispecific T-engaging antibody formats for those surface antigens. There'll be CAR T-cell specific products for those surface antigens. And then I think we'll be either sequentially or in a cocktail fashion mixing antigens together. Probably sequentially, I think is a better way of doing it. And then pharmacologically, ways to enhance immunotherapy, T-cell function, I think are what we're looking at. For those patients that are either have underlying immune deficiency or have had multiple prior therapies, don't have adequate T cells, there's a couple of the allo CAR products that are actually starting to look really good, the results. This is an off-the-shelf CAR where the T cells that are used are made from healthy donors. And amazingly, they look to be well tolerated and efficacious, at least in a couple of products that I'm following pretty closely. So I think, we've made a lot of progress with CAR T cells as a T cell based immunotherapy. There's more to come in the T cell mode of therapy, both CAR and bispecific, and lots of excitement with understanding more about the small molecule pathways in the various diffuse large B-cell lymphoma clusters that have been described so nicely at this meeting that we're at.